Boxing's biggest power couple on its way through a divorce, plus a trash-talking young stud. We get into all that next. Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment below. Please help us get to 1,000 subscribers. If you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to get every single episode of Tuesday Night Fights and more. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Fights. Just when you thought the boxing world was getting quiet and there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, you were wrong. Boxing's biggest power couple, Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, are on their way to a split. Well, that's what the rumors are saying. Plus, are we on our way to getting an all-action mega fight, unification fight in the junior middleweight 154-pound division? We get into all that on this episode of Tuesday Night Fights. Let's start with AJ and Eddie Hearn. It seems that Anthony Joshua, in all reports, is pretty unhappy with Eddie Hearn right now. His fight with Povetkin, the tickets have been on sale for 21 days, has not sold out. That is new territory for Anthony Joshua. He usually sells out within hours. He hasn't sold out in weeks at this point. And remember, Tyson Fury fights this weekend. And Deontay Wilder, he's going to head over to Northern Ireland, jump in the ring, and they're probably going to make that fight official. So Anthony Joshua now has to deal with two realities, and so does Eddie Hearn. One, his fight has no demand for it, or less demand. And two, the biggest fight in the heavyweight division is about to be announced and is going to go down, and you're not a part of it. That's a lot. He considers himself to be the biggest star in the sport. He is, along with Canelo, one of the two biggest stars in the sport, and he has to deal with the fact that the biggest fight in his division, which he thought he was in control of, is not going to include him. That's a lot to swallow. And his fight's not selling. Let's look at it this way. He's probably going to get in the realm of his normal $20 million to fight Povetkin. Let's say he gets a little more. Let's say he gets 25. Well, that's a lot of money. He was guaranteed 80 in reality to fight Wilder. If he, 50 for the first fight and 30 for the rematch if he did lose. That's a lot of money Eddie Hearn cost him. Imagine trying to go to your client and be like, I didn't get you that $50 million fight that they offered, that they sent over the contract for, that guaranteed you $50 million up front, but I got you $20 million to fight Alexander Povetkin. Look, and while there's a tougher fight than Povetkin, but Povetkin is no pushover. And obviously I picked Joshua to beat Povetkin, but this is the heavyweight division. I mean, did you pick Buster Douglas to beat Tyson? Did you pick Holyfield to beat Tyson? Did you pick Hasim Rahman to beat Lewis? Did you pick Corey Sanders to beat Klitschko? People can get knocked out in the heavyweight division. That's my point. Povetkin has power. I picked Joshua to win by a decision. Povetkin can knock anybody out. And so imagine if Joshua loses, right? He's now passed up $80 million, right? Because he's not getting that $30 million rematch with Povetkin, right? It's just not as big a fight. He'd get maybe 20 again. Look, the point is, when you get $80 million, at least 50 guaranteed up front, 30 if you lose. If you get $30 million guaranteed for a rematch, if you lose, you get $30 million to come off a loss, and $50 million to lose. There's no reason not to take that fight. Look, there is absolutely, if I give anyone outside of Floyd Mayweather $50 million and a guaranteed $30 million in a return fight, no one in the history of sports besides Floyd Mayweather should walk away from that. That is an obscene amount of money. Okay, to be guaranteed $30 million if you lose is insane, right? And that's what Hearn walked away from. Now examine this. If Wilder or Fury wins, one of them's going to win. Doesn't matter which one it is. They have a legitimate claim to the heavyweight championship. Anthony Joshua does not. Joshua would have to go through one of these guys to be the legitimate heavyweight champion. Keep that in mind. Regardless of who wins, Wilder or Fury, the winner will have a better win on their resume than Joshua does, right? Because whoever wins Wilder Fury would have that name on their resume. And they will be going into negotiations off a highly successful pay-per-view. Wilder vs. Fury will be a very successful pay-per-view. in the U.S. My guess is it does about 500,000 pay-per-view sales, and then whatever it does in the U.K. What does all this mean, right? Well, let's say Tyson Fury wins. He can demand a favorable split with AJ. If Wilder wins, Wilder can demand at least a 50-50 split, and it's certainly reasonable. He will be. Look, if Wilder beats Fury, which is not a projection yet, if Wilder beats Fury, he will be the legitimate heavyweight champion of the world and will have the better name on his resume. I mean, what's a more impressive win? Tyson Fury or 40-year-old Povetkin, or 39, whatever he is? Obviously Fury is, right? I mean, who's a better win? Tyson Fury or Charles Martin? At that point, Wilder has the better resume, he has the better win, and he's a pay-per-view attraction, which would have proven in the fight with Fury. None of that is good for AJ. He's going to get a smaller portion of the split after this fight than he would have before that, right? They had basically, Team Wilder had basically made every single concession to Anthony Joshua to make that fight this year. That didn't happen. After he beats Fury and has a claim to the legitimate, if he beats Tyson Fury and has a claim to the legitimate heavyweight championship, he's not making those concessions. He doesn't need to. He's a draw. He'll have a massive pay-per-view under his belt, which he can use as a negotiating chip. Look, Eddie Hearn overplayed his hand. He thought there was no possibility that Fury was going to fight Wilder. The only other two big drawing names, the only two that draw in the U.S., right? Because let's be honest, Anthony Joshua does not draw in the U.S. If you put on a Big Baby Miller card, it may do a bigger number. Like if Big Baby Miller headlined the card, it may do a bigger number than an Anthony Joshua card. If you think I'm wrong, just check out his numbers. They don't do anything in the U.S. He typically does between 300,000 and 400,000 live views. It's not a lot. That's a little bit more than a Golden Boy Live card gets on ESPN. I'm being serious. It's not great. So the two biggest, Eddie Hearn never expected the two biggest draws in America in the heavyweight division, Fury and Wilder, to fight each other. Well, now you're getting that. And it doesn't involve his guy. And he passed up on $50 million, possibly $80 million for his client. Look, Eddie Hearn's got one job, and that job is to make Anthony Joshua as much money as possible. Did he do that? No, he passed up a $50 million payday by Povetkin, which he'll probably get $20 million for. Now, if you're Anthony Joshua, how does that sit with you? How does that sit with you? You cost me $30 million, and another $30 million if I lose. To fight Povetkin, you overplayed your hand. I don't need you. I could have took the $50 million and fought Wilder. And obviously AJ thinks he could beat him. So then I can fight Fury for even more. Look what you cost me to fight Povetkin. I kind of like this. I really do. Because I like AJ. I really do. I get a lot of feedback. I'm anti-AJ, this and that. Look, I'm not anti-AJ. I would pick AJ to beat Wilder. I've said that many times. I can't stand Eddie. And that's because he's a liar and a scumbag and bad for the sport of boxing. Don't mistake my disgust for Eddie Hearn, that's a good word, disgust for Eddie Hearn for a dislike of Anthony Joshua. I like Joshua. I think he's a skilled fighter. I just don't like Eddie Hearn. And to see if they did split up and Joshua won his own way after this Povetkin fighter or what have you, Hearn losing his cash cow while just entering the first year of his 9-year deal with DAZN USA, which they invested $1 billion into, would put a smile on my face. It really would. Next, I want to get into young, trash-talking, now world champion Jaime Munguia, talking himself into a fight that we don't know that he wants. As the fans, we want it. I've been calling for this fight. I've been crying for this fight since Munguia disposed of Saddam Ali. I think Munguia fighting Jarrett Swift Hurd would be a combination of Gaddy Ward and Paul Williams versus Antonio Margarito. Right? You have two guys, massive guys for their weight. Two of the biggest probably the two biggest 154 pounders we've ever seen against each other. one in his prime and the other, well, really both of them just started to enter their prime, right? And it would have like a Gaddy Ward feel. Right? That's what I'm comparing this to. It's Paul Williams or Margarito in the sense that it's two massive guys for their weight class. I know Paul Williams and Margarito fought at 47, but this would be like that at 54. Two massively strong, big guys who aren't defensively great, by the way, going all at it in the primes of their career. You know, two undefeated fighters. Somebody would have to lose. And then in that sense, it would be Gaddy Ward because this thing would take place in a phone booth. It would be two guys trying to break each other down. I still have... Look, Munguia can punch. All right, he's got power. Now, is it special power or is it just really good power? That we're going to find out, right? He can punch. No one's taking that away from him. But he likes to come forward. Two guys that will not take a step back. Look, this isn't the best fight in the world, right? Like, it's not Crawford-Spence. But it's the most entertaining fight that you can make. Now, does Munguia really want this? Well, Golden Boy likes to make super fights. This would be a massive fight. I don't know what network it would be on, HBO or Showtime. Probably, I don't know. I mean, they would bid on it. I guess Showtime would win, but I can't see Oscar going over there. If both guys want this fight, I would think there's demand in this fight. I know I want to see it. I think it's the most entertaining fight that can be made. And I really think that this would be a war, right? And I know this sounds weird for me because I was just talking up last week Billy Joe Saunders and Demetrius Andrade as high-speed chess boxing. I love that fight. But everyone would love this. I mean, Hearn versus Munguia in 2019, make it the first big fight of 2019, would have so much appeal. It would win over the casuals. If you have friends that don't watch boxing and you can get them to watch one fight, I'm telling you, get them to watch Munguia and Hearn. This would be epic. Now, look, Munguia does things well. He's a puncher. He's a come-forward fighter. He is not ready for this fight. I'm not saying he can't win, but he's not ready for this fight. It would be difficult to see him beating Hearn, who's beaten Laura and beaten Trap and beating all those guys coming into this fight. Yeah, I'll be honest, I picked Hearn to lose his last 3 fights. I'm over 3 on those, right? So, look, I have Hearn number 7 or so on my pound for pound list right now. He's good. I know he doesn't look conventional and he's hittable and this and that, and he loses rounds early on. The guy wears you down and beats you up, period. And Munguia wears you down and beats you up. Both these guys are defensively flawed, which is like a basketball game. When 2 teams don't play defense, it's at 140 to 140 and everyone loves it. Well, that's the kind of fight this would be. It would be 2 massively big, strong guys standing toe-to-toe slugging each other. I don't know who the bigger guy in the ring would be. It would probably be Munguia slightly. So how does Hearn respond? But he's the smaller guy. He's never been in a professional fight. And Munguia's not going to be able to just push around Hearn. How does he respond to that? That's what there is to love about this fight. Again, this is not going to be boxing brilliance. It's not going to be Andrade and Billy Joe Saunders. It's not going to be 2 tacticians playing high-speed chess with each other. It's going to be warfare. And when there is warfare, the American fans, I'm telling you right now, if that fight happens, that's fight of the year in 2019. I can't see a more entertaining fight being made. You saw Hearn make a fight of the year candidate with Lara, and everyone said Lara was boring. Imagine what he would do with a guy like Munguia. That's the fight we want to see. Now, it's a risk, right? Because everyone I speak to, me included, says, oh, this would be a great fight. Hearn wins. Hearn wins by knockout. De La Hoya would be throwing his future prospect, right, in the ring with a guy that can maul you to death and kill you. It has the potential not just for Munguia to lose his world title, but to have the crap beat out of him and have him changed, right? I mean, Hearn puts a beating on people. Munguia is tough. He might be too tough for his own good. I don't think from Oscar's standpoint if this fight makes a lot of sense, but Oscar makes fights. He really does. You know, if he thinks his guy can beat Hearn, which I think Oscar believes that. I think Oscar believes that Hearn is defensively flawed, which he is, and Munguia would knock him out because he would utilize those flaws. He would take advantage of those flaws, and he would, with his power, he'd stop him. maybe he's right. I wouldn't pick it, but I like watching Munguia. I enjoy Munguia's fight. Let's see it. That's 2018's motto. It'll be 2019's motto too. Let's see it. Munguia versus Hearn. I love this fight. I would unify 3 of the 4 straps. It would bring us one step closer, leaving only Jermell Charlo as the other champ. Let's see this fight. Let's see it. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button, the little bell button, get notifications. Please subscribe to the show. Help us hit 1,000 subscribers. For Tuesday Night Fights, this is 3D Boxing signing off. Thank you, good night, and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.